Yo, what is going on guys, it's Ant and welcome back to the channel. So if you couldn't already tell from the title of the video, today we're going to be doing a Pokemon Shiny only Hardcore Nuzlocke on Let's Go Pikachu. Before we get into the video, there's going to be some rules. They're going to flash up on the screen for a couple moments. Also guys, if you're new to the channel and find yourself enjoying the content, make sure you smash that subscribe button. I'm really thankful for all the support over the last couple of months. I really appreciate it. It's really been like an insane journey so far, and if anyone is new here, we've got a load of other videos like this in the works. So if you do enjoy the content, I would love for you to stick around. And with that all said, let's go get back into things. So to start things off, we go for the intro, we collect our Pikachu and we give ourselves the name of Ant. We're also going to give our rival the name of Trace, and we go get into things. So firstly we collect our Pikachu, but Pikachu unfortunately is not something we can use in this run. Pikachu is shiny locked, which means we're actually going to have to find something else as well. So we go head out into Route 1, going to run up and down throughout all the grassy areas, and we're just hoping and waiting basically for 1 in 4096 odds Pokemon to spawn, and eventually we actually end up finding ourselves a Pidgey. Now this was a nice find for us actually, so I'll go capture this up. But now I'm thinking to myself, with just Pidgey alone, do I make it past the first rival fight? No. So I go head up into Route 22 as well, and I start looking around for another Pokemon. And what's kind of funny about this is I actually thought we lost this. So while looking around, doing the same thing we did in Route 1, in Route 22, a shiny Spearow ends up spawning. And we end up jumping over the ledge, and I'm thinking to myself like, it's going to despawn. And I remember running around, and I got to this point, and I've actually got the recording of it as well, which I'll post as a short soon. But I come running back around, and I was looking around, I was like, oh my god, it's despawned. And, you know, after all these like hours we've spent just running around through all this grass like mindlessly, I thought I'd actually lost the Pokemon, and there it was. So it still hadn't despawned. We managed to run back around in time, and yeah, I was really thankful about this. So we caught up the Spearow, and we've done everything we could with the 2 Pokemon that we have before heading back down to Professor Oak's lab. Because when we get back down to Professor Oak's lab, we've got to go get into our first rival fight of a run against Trace. So in this rival fight here, we're going to lead off with our Pidgey, and we've got a plan in mind. Eevee's going to be a bit too hard for us to just take down, so we're going to have to go with a bit of a strategy. We're going to start off with Pidgey here and Sand Attack on the first turn. As you can see, Eevee does quite a lot of damage to us. Every tackle's actually doing 7 damage. We do get to Sand Attack it down to -2. Once I put it down to -2 accuracy, I've got to make a hard switch here over into my Spearow. And now we've got a lot more we need to do. So Eevee's now hitting us with Growl, but the intention with our Spearow is we're also going to be using Growl on Eevee as well. And we're going to be knocking down Eevee's attack stat basically to -6. I do get a little peck in there just to see how much damage I'm doing, because Eevee's also using Growl, but it's doing nothing at all because I'm pretty much at -3 at this point. I do end up putting the Eevee down to -6 eventually. I do this without taking any damage as well, which is great. And once the Eevee finally gets down to -6, I'm also on about -4 myself, so I know that I'm not going to be able to do any damage to this Eevee. So my next plan is that I'm going to go make a hard switch over into my Pidgey, because I know that if Eevee hits me, unless it's a critical hit, we're not going to take much damage at all. So I switch over into the Pidgey, and Eevee actually does manage to hit us with Tackle here, and it does 1 damage. Now because it's only done 1 damage, I'm going to stay with my Pidgey at the time because I know it can also survive 1 more hit. And I'm going to do a bit of chip damage while I can because it's lowering my stats. And I'm also going to be throwing in a couple more Sand Attacks as well, because Spearow's going to have a big job on its hands. And after a while I actually decided as well that while Pidgey's got 2 HP, I'm going to make my switch back onto Spearow now. Eevee's on around about -4 accuracy, and if Spearow does get to a point where it's had all its attack stat shortened once again by Eevee's Growl, I still have 1 more mostly safe switch I can make on my Pidgey. So we go back over into Spearow, and from here we're just going to be chip damaging it with our pecks, and eventually we get all the way down to very low life, and we're able to finish it off with 1 last peck. And with this done, we managed to get through the first rival fight safely, and in my thoughts while we was going for this, I actually thought we was never going to make it through this. So I'm very happy to get through. especially with both my Pokemon still alive as well. So after this now, we can go ahead up to Viridian Forest, and while we're in here, again, just like we did on Route 22, like we did on Route 1, we're going to go through all the grassy areas that we can without fighting anyone and find ourselves a shiny. And whilst looking around here enough times, we end up finding ourselves a shiny Oddish, which is absolutely perfect for us because firstly, we need a grass type to get into Brock's gym, and secondly, both Spearow and Pidgey, if we go into Brock's gym just like this, we're at a 100% fail rate, we're going to lose. Oddish now takes us from a 100% fail to a 100% success. We're definitely making it through Brock's gym now. The Nuzlocke was going to be absolutely lost if we had to go with just Spearow and Pidgey. So Oddish has basically saved the run here. Because we're going to go ahead into Brock's gym. Brock's going to send out Geodude. We're going to start off with our Oddish. And we're going to go for an Absorb on the first turn. A double super effective Absorb that's going to one-shot the Geodude. So we go take that down, and then nextly Brock's going to send out his final Pokemon, which is Onix. Now Onix as well is also a rock ground type, Absorb, double super effective. We go take this down with a one shot after taking a hit from Onix itself, and it's as easy as that. We go defeat Brock, earn ourselves the Boulder Badge, and go head on into Mount Moon. Now in Mount Moon, after collecting our fossil, we gotta go get into a fight with Jesse and James, our first one of the run. And in this, I'm going to be leading both my Spearow and Oddish. I'm going to be trying to keep Oddish quite healthy using Absorb sometimes, but also I'm going to use a bit of Acid as well so I can try and hit both Pokemon, but really I want to try and get Ekans out first, so we are doubling up on it a little. That Acid attack it keeps using as well keeps lowering both special defenses on Oddish and Spearow, so I'm getting a little worried. We've got Ekans down to half life as well at this point. The Spearow gets into really low life as well, so I am going to have to go make a hard switch here over into my Pidgey and hope we can try and get this Ekans out as quick as possible. It hits us with another Acid. I'm going to hit back with another Acid after, and as you can see it's doing pretty much nothing to no damage, but because we got Pidgey and Pidgey's got quite a lot of health still left on it, we're able to try and get this Ekans out. I hit it with a Gust and knock it onto really low life, and Oddish is able to go finish it off with an Acid after, which leaves just Coughing left for us now. So with just Coughing left, we pretty much got this because there's nothing Coughing can really do to stop us. We're going to stay doing what I was doing before, just doubling up, and after doing this for a couple turns, Coughing gets put onto really low life, and we're able to go finish it off. We hit it with a Gust, knock it into low life, one more Acid to seal the fight, take down the Coughing, and defeat Jesse and James. Now Jesse and James defeated, I remember I wasn't recording and I saw one come up on my screen, and I ended up finding it at the corner of my eye in this little bush. So what we end up finding is a shiny Sandshrew, and we go capture this up quickly. And with Sandshrew, the new addition to our team, we can go ahead up into our next rival fight with Trace. So Trace here is going to start off with his Pidgey, and I'm going to start off with mine as well in the lead. Now my intention with this Pidgey, because it's pretty strong against most of my team, I'm going to try and lower its accuracy with a Sand attack. Now it doesn't work on the first turn and it hits us with Gust, but when I start hitting back with Gust after, we also avoid one of the Gusts from the Pidgey. I knock it down on the second turn then into one shot. It does a bit more damage to me after, and then I go finish it off. Once the Pidgey goes down, Trace is going to send out his Oddish, and I'm going to hit this with a Sand attack as well, because if Pidgey does get to a point where I need to switch, Oddish is still going to be very strong against most of my team as well. And Acid actually does like 10 damage as well, so it's quite worrying. I'm going to hit it with a Gust and knock it down into just above half-life. It's going to go for Poison Powder, which misses. And then I'm going to hit with a Quick Attack as well to try and get around Trace using his potions. So I knock it down into one shot, and then on the next turn I'm going to go for one last Gust, take down the Oddish, and now all we've got left is Trace's final Pokemon, which is Eevee. So he's going to send out Eevee, and I'll make a hard switch here with Pidgey. I go over into Spearow. Now with Spearow, Sandshrew, and Oddish, I'm going to lower its attack and also try and do as much chip damage as I can to take this down. So I end up actually putting this Eevee onto -3 here, and with that then, because I'm in crit range, I go make the hard switch over into Oddish. Now thankfully, because of all the growls, Eevee's quick attack's doing little to no damage, and I can start setting up some growths on Oddish. So I go put Oddish to +1, I go hit Eevee with an Absorb, recover most of my life, and because I can see that Eevee's not actually going down to this, I go put myself up another +2 in my growths. So now I'm at +3 special attack, hit the Eevee with another Absorb, and it doesn't actually take it down, it puts it into very low life, which means Trace is going to potion next turn. When Trace potions, I'm going to hit Eevee with another Absorb, and that'll be enough to take this down and win the fight. From here then, we go see Bill, and then we go into the Cerulean City gym against Misty. Now Misty here starts off with a Psyduck, and I'm actually going to start off with Pidgey here. I know I've got a Grass type of them party, but Psyduck here has access to Confusion, and it will take down Oddish. So the intention here is I'm going to try to just stall my way past the Psyduck with my Pidgey. I'm going for sand attacks, I'm doing a bit of chip damage, just everything I can to try and get through this Pokemon with little to no damage. I'm also coming along with the move Roost as well, which I learned just before. That's also going to keep my Pidgey healthy for the fight. Now I think I ended up getting Psyduck onto like -6 here, and then once it's on -6 I'm trying to do everything I can to keep myself at full life or very high life, and I hit the Psyduck with a wing attack, hits me with Water Gun. So this means I'm going to Roost on the next turn and hope for a miss, and Psyduck does end up missing, so I can hit with another wing attack, put it into one shot, it misses again, and I go finish it off. Next up then Starmie comes in, so my intention here with Pidgey is I'm going to go make a hard switch over into Oddish. Starmie's going to go for Scald, the Scald won't do too much damage. Scald again on the next turn will do a bit more damage and also burn us. That's nothing to worry about, we're going to recover most of our life back with Absorb, put the Starmie to just above half life, take another Scald before hitting another Absorb. We're just back and forth in it pretty much. Starmie's now into one shot, which means we're going to take it down on the next turn. Going for our third Absorb, Starmie goes down, and with this done we've earned our second gym badge of a run. Now after defeating Misty and getting outside of Cerulean City, Pidgey goes and evolves into a Pidgeotto. I also found a nice little way as well to help ourselves with being under-leveled, was sticking our Pokemon into the daycare and having a little run around. Now actually whilst we was doing this, I also ended up finding myself a shiny Rattata as well, and ran round to it immediately. So I went round to the shiny Rattata, and I want to cut this up as quickly as I could. And with that done, after we head back into the daycare and also pick up our Sandshrews, went up by 5 levels. So with this now we've got 5 Pokemon in our team, and we head down just past Vermilion and start fighting some trainers. And whilst fighting these trainers just outside of the SSN, Oddish goes and evolves into a Gloom. And with Oddish evolved, we also go ahead onto the SSN afterwards. And whilst on the SSN also fighting the trainers, Sandshrew also goes and evolves into a Sandslash. Now with our newly evolved Pokemon, we're going to go ahead into the fight with Trace, and Trace is going to lead with Pidgeotto here. Whilst Trace leads with Pidgeotto, we're going to send out our own, and our Pidgeotto is quite a bit stronger than Trace's Pidgeotto, so we're going to go for 3 wing attacks and take down his lead Pokemon. Next event Eevee comes out, and I'm going to Roost myself back up to full life and just take advantage of the opportunity that I'm in. I know Eevee's not able to take me down, and every time it's doing quite a good amount of damage to me, I'm just going to Roost myself back up. Whilst doing this also, I'm doing my own chip damage. Eevee can't recover unless I put it into a place where Trace will use a potion, but because I didn't let that happen, we were able to go take down Eevee with 3 uses of wing attack. And then we can move on to his final Pokemon, which is his Oddish. So we're going to go hit our Oddish with wing attack, knock it down into one shot, it misses Sleep Powder, and Trace is just going to spam a couple potions for a couple turns. So the next wing attack we go for here, also not one shot the Oddish. And then on the next turn while Oddish is on such low life, we're going to go for a quick attack, take down the Oddish and win the fight. And after actually winning this fight as well, as Spearow is going to go and evolve into Fearow, we're going to go get ourselves cut. And then we're going to go ahead into the Vermilion Gym to fight with Lieutenant Surge. Now thankfully for us in this gym, we've got ourselves a perfect Sandslash for this, so there's absolutely no way we're losing this. We go straight into it, and Lieutenant Surge here starts off with his Voltorb. So we send out Sandslash, and Sandslash here is basically going to go for a dig and one-shot the Voltorb. And then on the next turn after this, we're going to put ourselves underground once again with Sandslash, dodge Sonic Boom, come up the next turn with Dig once again, one-shot Magnemite, and now up against Surge's final Pokemon, Raichu. Raichu hits us with Quick Attack, we put ourselves underground with Dig once again, and then when we come back up on the very next turn, we're going to one-shot the Raichu, take this down, and earn ourselves our 3rd gym badge of a run. With that all done now, we head through Rock Tunnel, get to Lavender Town, and in Pokemon Tower we've got our next rival fight with Trace. So once again, just like our last fight, Trace got 3 Pokemon and is leading Pidgeotto. I'm going to start off with my Pidgeotto as well, And we're going to just try and stall this out from the use of chip damage and using Roost to keep herself healthy. Now unfortunately we knock Pidgeotto down into red life, which means Tracy's going to go use one of his potions. And we're going to heal ourselves up. But at least his potion, or well, one of his potions have been wasted now. So after doing some more chip damage once again, we've knocked the Pidgeotto into very low life. Take a wing attack. And from here we can go for a quick attack and finish off his Pidgeotto. After taking down his Pidgeotto, the next Pokemon he brings out is Jolteon. So with Jolteon here, I'm going to go make a hard switch over into Sandslash. Tracy's going to try and hit us with a Thunder Shock, and it's not going to affect us because we're a ground type. And just like against Surge, he can only really do damage to us with Quick Attack, which doesn't do any damage at all. We put ourselves underground. And then on the next turn when we pop back up, it's a one shot on the electric type. We take this down. And now we're up against Tracy's final Pokemon, and that's Gloom. So Tracy's Gloom here is threatening us because it's a grass type. I make a switch here back over into my Pidgeotto. And we actually end up taking a sleep powder as well, which puts us to sleep straight away. We do end up waking ourselves back up, and I'm having to Roost to try and keep myself healthy, as we're taking quite a lot of damage from Gloom's Acid. Thankfully though, Gloom is 2 shot to a wing attack, so we go for 2 wing attacks here, and we end up taking this down and defeating Trace. Now Trace done out, we go down to Celadon City and head into the Team Rocket hideout. In Team Rocket hideout, we're fighting against Jesse and James once again. I've got my Raticate and I've got my Sandslash, and basically we're going to both use Dig. So we hit Dig on the Weezing to begin with Raticate, and Sandslash is also going to come along and hit the Weezing as well. Now unfortunately we don't take this out, and we also end up taking the Glare as well, which is going to paralyze Sandslash, and Weezing's also going to hit a Sludge on Raticate, which is going to poison us as well. So not too much of a great turn for us. We are able to go take down the Weezing with a quick attack, so at least now we're on a 2v1 sort of area. I put Sandslash underground as well to try and hit the Arbok with a Dig. And I'm also going to stay in with my Raticate as well and go for a Dig too. Now Sandslash is paralysed, so we can't actually damage the Arbok. Raticate does at least enough damage for us with its own Dig, but now we're starting to get quite low life on our poison. So I'm going to have to switch out my Raticate. I make a hard switch here over into my Gloom. Take a Poison Jab, which would have killed our Raticate. Sandslash this time doesn't get affected by paralysis. We come back up, we take down the Arbok and win us a fight. So after defeating Jesse and James, we have to go get into a fight with Archer. And Archer's going to start off with a Weezing here, and we're going to start off with our Sandslash. Now again, Sandslash here is going to go for a Dig on first turn, put ourselves underground, and when we hit him, we're going to knock him down into one shot. And he's going to hit us with a Flamethrower after as well. Now with this, we're going to go back underground. Next turn when we hit Dig, we're going to take down the Weezing. And now we're up against Archer's last Pokemon, which is a Golbat. Now Golbat was kind of annoying because Air Slash can get some flinches. I was quite worried about this, so I do hit him with a Sand Attack here, just to try and lower that chance. And then he hits us with another Air Slash, and this is why I wanted to try and lower it, because he flinched us. So then I was going to send out Pidgeotto after, because Sand Slash is on lower life. We take another Air Slash here, and that actually does quite a lot of damage. We stay in with Pidgeotto though, and it crits us, puts us into really low life. Thankfully doesn't flinch us, and we can get a bit of chip damage here with Wing Attack. But now again I'm forced to switch, so I'm going to have to go make a switch here over into my Raticate. Raticate takes a Crunch, and then we go for a Headbutt, which actually manages to flinch the Golbat amazingly. And then we flinch it again with a second Headbutt, so I don't know why I was worried about Golbat flinching us when actually I'm the one with the flinch luck, it seems. So we can then go take down the Golbat with a quick attack. And after we've done that, we defeated Archer, we have to go get into a fight with Team Rocket boss Giovanni. So Giovanni here is going to lead off with Persian, and he's going to hit us with Fake Out in the first turn and flinch us. Next turn he hits us with a Slash, we go underground, and on the next turn when we come back up, we're going to hit the Persian with Dig, knock it down into just below half-life, and we're pretty much going to do the exact same thing after and take it down with a 2-shot. So when the Persian goes down, next out then he sends out his Rhyhorn. So for Rhyhorn here, I'm going to make the switch from Sandslash over into my Gloom, and we're going to take a Mega Horn as well. On the next turn then, we're going to hit back with a Mega Drain, take down the Rhyhorn with a 1-shot, and it's Giovanni defeated. Now, we've still got another Team Rocket battle to do after as well, because we head back into Lavender Town, into the Pokemon Tower, where we've got to fight Jesse and James once again. So when we get back up there and get into the fight with Jesse and James, again, they're going to start off with Weezing and Arbok. I'm going to do exactly what I did in the last fight against them, which is start with Sandslash and Raticate. and on the first turn we're going to put ourselves both underground to dodge any of their attacks. Now the one who's most worrying for me is Arbok, so we're going to go take this down here. We go hit Arbok with a dig and put it into half-life. And because we double up on it with Sand Slasher's dig as well, we can take this down this turn. And now all we got left to take down is Weezing. So Raticate hits a Weezing with dig. Then Sand Slash follows up after and puts it into really low life. Weezing goes for a Sludge Bomb and Raticate. And then we're going to go finish this off with a quick attack and defeat Team Rocket. With Jesse and James down, we head back over into Celadon. And now it's time to get into the fight with Gym Leader Erica. So Gym Leader Erica here is going to start off with Tangela. And I'm going to send in my Fearow to begin. Now quite nicely, just outside of Celadon City, we're able to pick up Fly. So this is going to help us a lot in this gym. We go for Fly in the first turn against Tangler, knock it into half-life. But then it hits us with a Sleep Powder and puts us to sleep. I actually decide I'm going to stay in though and try and get myself to wake up. And Fearow wakes up pretty early as well, which is nice. So we can wake up, hit a second Fly and knock the Tangler down into really low life. But then it goes for a Sleep Powder again and puts us straight back to sleep. So it's not going all too well for us. So really the thought here in mind is I could stay in with Fearow and try and wait for it to wake up, but instead I gotta make it to switch over into my Pidgeotto. We take a Mega Drain because of the switch, and from here we can go for a Fly and finish this off. With Tangler down, Erica's then going to send out a second Pokemon, which is Vileplume. And the Vileplume comes out, we hit this with a Fly and knock it down into one shot. And it's actually going to hit us with Moonblast here as well, which is quite scary because it's done a lot of damage. But we were fine, we could go for Fly again afterwards, take down the Vileplume, and now we're up against Erica's last Pokemon. So Erica sends out a Weeping Bell, and what I decided here is that I was going to Roost and try and put myself into quite a bit more higher life. But then when Weeping Bell hits us with Poison Jab, it pretty much puts us back to exactly where we was at before. I gotta make a switch here over into my Raticate instead. Take a Poison Jab on the switch. Now I was quite worried with Raticate here because we've just been knocked down into just above half-life by 1 HP. We go for a Headbutt, and Headbutt actually knocks Weeping Bell down under half-life, and it also gets us another crazy flinch. So with this now, we know that we can just go take down his Weeping Bell with a second Headbutt. We go for that, take down Erica's Weeping Bell, and earn ourselves the 4th gym badge of a run. With Erica down, our level cap now increases to 45, and we're going to go make an evolution here as our Pidgeotto goes and finally evolves into a Pidgeot. And with all our team being trained up quite a bit, we go ahead down into Fuchsia City and get into the fight with gym leader Koga. Koga here is going to start off with a Weezing, and I'm going to start off with Raticate. So my strategy here is that we want Weezing to try and get as less turns as possible. So I'm going to paralyze it on the first turn. Weezing does manage to get past the paralysis and hit us with Toxic, but then we go make a switch here over into our Pidgeot. So again, we want to try and waste as many turns on its Weezing as we can. So we're going to hit it with a few sand attacks to try and lower its accuracy. But at -1 accuracy, it still manages to hit us with Toxic. And because it's hit us with Toxic now, it's going to start trying to protect every turn. But I'm going to stay in with Pidgeot here. And Pidgeot actually manages to expel the poison, so that helps us out a lot. So after this then, we're going to go hit Weezing with another sand attack, but Weezing again at -2 accuracy manages to hit Toxic. So I thought this wasn't going well for us. But Pidgeot immediately expels the poison again, so this is going really well for us actually. We're going to go hit this with another sand attack and drop it down to -3. And Weezing's paralysed this turn as well, so it's working really well for us. Go for a 4th sand attack, and then Weezing just goes and uses the explosion. I think it's had enough. And well, because it was at -4 at the time, we also managed to dodge the explosion as well, so Weezing died for nothing. Next up then, Koga sends out Muck, and it's going to be the same issue here as well. Muck is going to like to spam some poison attacks and Toxic, so we're going to need to try and lower this thing's accuracy as well. So I'll go put it down into -2, and then it hits me with Toxic. What I can do to try and keep myself healthy, especially considering they always seem to protect after hitting you with Toxic, is that I'm just going to Roost and try and keep myself healthy. So from here we go hit the Muck with a U-turn because we're poisoned, then we don't want to lose too much damage. And I go switch over into my Raticate. Again, just like we did against a Weezing, we also want to try and get the same thing pulled off here as well. So when we make the switch in, we dodge Sludge Bomb, And then after this, we're able to go and paralyze the muck as well with Thunder Wave. It does manage to get past that paralysis and hit us with a Sludge Bomb that puts us down into half-life. And I do want to keep Raticate alive as well, because I'd like to try and keep him. I make the hard switch over into Pidgeot, and we're hurt by poison, but we do at least get Muck paralyzed, so he's not able to hit us. And from here, I'm going to keep going for a few sand attacks to keep lowering its accuracy. And as always, just going to keep myself healthy with some Roost every couple of turns. Basically though, the fight got to a point where I'm losing way too much HP staying in every turn with Pidgeot, so I U-turn again on the Muck and go over into my Sand Slash. So Sand Slash here, we're just hoping we can try and get past it. I'm going to try and set up as well, so I put myself on a Sword Dance to +2. And then after this, I'm going to go put myself underground as well. Now annoyingly, Muck uses Toxic and it manages to hit us while we're underground. So we get badly poisoned by this, but we can at least take down the Muck. With the Muck taken down now, we've only got 2 more Pokemon left in Koga's party to win the fight. And the next Pokemon he brings out is Golbat, and Golbat here to try and stall out some couple turns because of our Toxic is also going to Fly as well. So when Golbat comes down here, it does quite a bit of damage. We hit this with a Headbutt afterwards and put it down underneath Half-Life. But now Sand Slash is on a very bad position, so I'm going to make a switch here and go over into my Fearow. We take a Leech Life on switch, and now because it's doing quite a lot of damage as well because it's powerful, I'm hitting it with some Growls to lower its attack. Before Golbat goes and hits us with Toxic. Now because Golbat likes to stall after using Toxic, I go and use Fly on the turn it's meant to protect, which means it can't protect on this turn. We're going to come down with Fly onto the Golbat and put it into very low life. And then Golbat's going to use Fly as well. Now again, because we're faster, we're going to fly up on the next turn too. Put ourselves into the sky, dodge Fly, and then on the next turn we're going to come back down and hit the Golbat and take it down. Now lastly, all we need to get past is Koga's final Pokemon, which is his Venomoth. But because of the poison, we actually also end up losing our Fearow. So now I've got to go switch back over into Raticate because next we've got Venomoth. And Venomoth is very fast and probably has the potential to sweep the rest of my team. So with this thought in mind, I'm going to go hit Venomoth with a Thunder Wave and put it under paralysis, as a Sludge Bomb is also going to take down our sacrificed Raticate. So we've lost Raticate now. It's the second loss we've had in this fight. I'm going to send in my Pidgeot. Now Pidgeot here, we're going to go for a Fly, and when we come back down on the next turn, we're basically going to take down the Venomoth. No issues, and with that done, we've defeated Koga for the 5th gym badge of a run. After coming out of the Fuchsia City gym, our Gloom is going to go and evolve into a Vileplume, and then we're going to go head into Seafoam Islands. This is a Pokemon I really want to find in here. After a while of looking around, we actually end up finding it as well. A shiny Slowpoke, which I'll go and capture up. And then, pretty much immediately after coming out of Seafoam Islands, this Slowpoke is going to go and evolve into a Slowbro. And then we're going to go head around to Celadon City and pick up a few items. And then back into Saffron after and pick ourselves up a Psychic as well. And then we're going to go get into the fight with Blue in Silphco. Blue here starts off with Executor. I'm going to start off with Pidgeot. One Fly is going to put it down into one shot. It does hit me with Psychic here, which does quite a bit of damage. But that's fine, because I'm actually going to go for a U-turn here and finish off the Executor. Now with this, we get a perfect switch into Blue's next Pokemon, which we know is Charizard. So I'm going to go into my Slowbro here, and Blue sends out Charizard. So Charizard's going to hit us with an Air Slash, and then after this, we're going to reply with a Surf and one-shot the Charizard to defeat Blue. And now we got a couple more Team Rocket fights. So next up in Silphco, we got to go get into a double battle against Archer and a Team Rocket Grunt. And it's going to be me and Trace. So on the first turn here, I know that Electrode and Muck like to use Protect and Explosion. And I also led with Pidgeot as well. So just in case it was going for any electric type attacks, the Electrode, I'm making a switch here over into my Vileplume. And a Protect Self-Destruct strategy happens. So it was still a pretty good switch. Now while I'm in with my Vileplume as well, I'm going to start going for growths so I can try and make my special attack rise. After doing this, I put myself up a few stages and then hit the Muck with a Mega Drain, which will take it down. Trace is pretty helpful in this fight as well. He's doing quite a lot of chip damage to the poison types that Team Rocket are using. And I'm able to go hit the Weezing here with my Mega Drain and put it into really low life, as the Weezing goes and takes down Trace's Cubone. From this now, Weezing is going to go down to a quick attack from the Pidgeot. I take a Sucker Punch, and then hit the Raticate with a Mega Drain, and this is going to take this down too. Now with that done, we've got Archer's last Pokemon, which is Golbat, so I'm going to make a switch here over into my Slowbro just to be safe. I'm going to take an Air Slash. Pidgeot's going to hit Golbat with another Air Slash after, actually flinch it, and then we're going to finish off this fight with a Psychic. With that done now, we got to go get into another fight with Jesse and James. Jesse and James here are going to have Weezing and Arbok as always. I'm going to dig on the first time with Sand Slash, dodge a Glare, but also take a Thunderbolt from the Weezing. I'm going to one-shot the Arbok with Psychic, and then Sand Slash is going to come up after as well. I'm not Weezing into really low life with Dig. Following up on this same turn, I'm going to hit Psychic on the Weezing after taking the Flamethrower. We're going to finish this off, and that's Jesse and James defeated, putting us into the next fight after with Giovanni. So against Giovanni here, he's got 3 Pokemon. He's going to lead off with his Persian. And I start this off here with my Sand Slash. So we take a Fake Out on the first turn, but then we're going to go for a Dig and knock the Persian down just below half-life. And then we're going to use Dig again, and when we come back up on this one, we're going to finish off the Persian. The next Pokemon that comes out then is Rhyhorn, so Rhyhorn here, I'm going to make a hard switch over into my Vileplume. We do end up taking a Mega Horn, but it doesn't do way too much. And then we're able to go recover all this life back anyway with Mega Drain and take down the Rhyhorn. And now we're up against Giovanni's last Pokemon. Giovanni's last Pokemon is Nidoqueen. We knock it down to just above half-life with a Mega Drain, and then take a Body Slam. That was also a critical hit as well. I then use Growth here, so when I go for my next Mega Drain on next turn, I can actually get the kill, and I do this and defeat Giovanni. Now after finishing everything we needed to do in Silphco, we're now going to go get into the 6th gym battle of a run against Gym Leader Sabrina, the Psychic type trainer. She leads off here with Mr. Mime, and I'm going to take a note from Koga's book here and start using a bit of Toxic. So we're going to go put the Mr. Mime under Bad Poison, and Mr. Mime's going to go set up a Light Screen. From here after, I'm going to hit the Mr. Mime with a Fly, put it into low life, take a Psychic, and it's also going to survive its poison as well, but this is fine because I know it's actually going to go down on the next turn. So I go and use a Roost. I actually end up dodging Psychic as well and letting Mr. Mime go down. Next up then we got Jinx, so once again I'm going to go set up Toxic, and we'd also dodge a Lovely Kiss as well, which would have confused us. After doing a bit of chip damage with Toxic, we go hit the Jinx with a Fly and take this down. And then next up we got Slowbro as well. So Slowbro is also going to go get the same treatment. We're going to go hit this with Toxic, and pretty much just going to stall this one out as well. So next turn I Roost back up to full life. Slowbro uses Calm Mind to try and make its attack stronger. So I know that I'm going to have to try and do a bit more damage to it as well, because if it does hit me, then I'm going to have a bit of issue. Now what I decided it's going to go for here is Yawn. So after I hit Fly, I'm actually put into the drowsiness state, which means next turn I am going to fall asleep. But that's fine because I've got U-turn, I hit it on the Slowbro, and I can go and make a switch just before the Alakazam comes. Now the Pokemon I'm going to go switch over into is my Sand Slash. Now up against the Alakazam here, we're going to take a Psychic that does quite a lot of damage, but we're also going to go set up the Toxic that we needed. Now with this done, we're going to make a hard switch over into my Slowbro, and we're going to take a Psychic, which isn't going to do too much damage because it's not very effective. From here, Alakazam goes for another Psychic and also crits us, and we're going to go hit the Alakazam with his Shadow Ball just to do a bit more damage to it. Now from here, I know I'm dead to another crit, but also if we can make it through this turn, then Alakazam might go down to his Toxic. So we stay in, he goes for Nightshade, we survive on 15 HP, rest and recover ourselves back up to 4 HP, and let the Alakazam go down to its poison. And with that done, that's Sabrina defeated for the 6th gym badge of a run. With the 6th gym badge earned, we head then down into Cinnabar Island, and we're going to go get into the 7th gym fight of a run against Blaine, the Fire-type trainer. And we're going to lead here with our Slowbro, take a Flamethrower on the first turn, which doesn't do too much, and then go take down the Magmar with Surf. Next up then, Blaine's going to send out Arcanine, and Arcanine's going to hit us with Crunch, which does quite a bit of damage. We're going to respond back with Surf once again, and knock this into really low life. So stayed in on the next Crunch, because I know he's going to survive unless he crit, because I wanted my Slowbro to get back up to full life. So I stay in, take the Crunch, and then rest myself back to full HP before making a hard switch over into my Pidgeot. Pidgeot next up then takes a Crunch, and then it's going to go and hit a U-turn on the Arcanine to take this down. From here, I'll go send in my Sand Slash, and Gym Leader Blaine sends out Rapidash. Rapidash here hits us with a Flare Blitz. It does quite a bit of damage and also burns us, which is kind of annoying. And then we go use Dig. But what's good about this is we actually managed to expel the burn, So when we come back up on Dig here, we're going to do full damage and actually take down the Rapidash, leaving us up against Blaine's last Pokemon, which is Ninetales. So against the Ninetales here, I'm going to stay in one more time, take the Fire Blast, which is going to put us down into Red Life, burrow myself underground, and because the Ninetales is fast, it's going to miss. We're going to come back up on the next turn, hit the Ninetales with Dig and finish it off to win the fight. And then now that we've got 7 gym badges, we've only got 1 more left to collect, which means we've got to do 1 more fight against Giovanni, the Viridian City gym leader. So in this fight, Giovanni's going to use a load of ground types, so we're going to lead off with Vileplume. Vileplume's going to start off by taking an Earthquake from the trio and then taking it down with Mega Drain. Then next up, Giovanni sends out Nidoking. So Nidoking here is a Pokemon I'm going to try and set up a little on. We dodge its first Earthquake and use a Growth. And then I'm going to go hit this with a Mega Drain and put it into low life. Once having this down in low life, we take another Earthquake and set up another Growth because now I know I'm going to survive 2 of them. When we set up the next Growth, we take another Earthquake and then finish off the Nidoking. And then nextly, he's going to send out Rhydon, which is just basically going to recover all of our HP. So we hit this with Mega Drain and one-shot it. And then nextly, we got his last Pokemon, which is Nidoqueen. Nidoqueen hits an Earthquake, does almost a third of our HP. And then from here, we're just going to go finish it off on the next turn as well. And with that done, that's Giovanni defeated for us to earn our 8th gym badge of a run. So now all we got left is one last rival battle and then it's on to the Elite Four. So right now we're going to go get into a fight with Trace. He's going to lead his Pidgeot and as always we're going to lead our Pidgeot. We're going to start off by hitting his Pidgeot with Toxic. His Pidgeot hits us back with Air Slash. But really this is fine, there's not going to be any issue against this Pidgeot. Do a bit of stalling out with some Roosts. Try and waste its HP. And after doing this for quite a while, we end up getting the Pidgeot onto really low life. But sadly, I know Trace is going to potion here. Thankfully, he only uses a max potion though, so he doesn't lose a Toxic. Poison's actually doing quite a lot of damage now as well, so when we go hit the Pidgeot now with Fly after, we can take this down. Now next up, we send out Jolteon, so I'm going to make a hard switch here over into my Sand Slash to dodge any electric type moves. And Jolteon goes for a Thunder that doesn't affect us. After this then, we're going to go put ourselves underground with Dig. And when we come back up on the next turn, this is going to be a one-shot on Trace's Jolteon, so we go take this down as well. With the Jolteon down, he then sends out Vileplume, so I'm going to make a hard switch over into my Pidgeot, and Vileplume's going to hit us with a Petal Dance. With us using Fly though, we're going to go take the Vileplume down with a one-shot, and then next up we got Trace's Marowak, so we go hit this with a U-turn, and then from here we're going to go switch over into our Slowbro. Trace's Marowak's going to use a Sword Dance, but we're going to go and take this down on the next turn with a Surf, and with this done, it's Trace defeated. With Trace defeated, we're going to start searching all around the map for some new Pokemon, and I end up finding myself a Zubat, so I go capture this up. And then after this at the power plant, I also find myself a Magnemite as well, so I go capture this up as well. And from here, we go back to the Indigo Plateau, evolve our Magnemite into Magneton, and then we're also going to go evolve our Zubat into a Golbat, and then we go head into the Elite Four. Now finally, with everything ready, we're going to go ahead into our battles. So firstly, we're going to go get into the fight with Elite Four Lorelei. She's an Ice type trainer and she's going to lead off with Dugong here. A lot of her Pokemon are Ice Water types, so I'm going to take advantage of this with Magneton by using Thunderbolt on the first turn and taking Dugong down with a one-shot. Next up then, Lorelei sends out Slowbro, so again this is another one-shot to Thunderbolt. And then after this, she's going to go send out Cloyster. Now Cloyster once again is going to be another one-shot to Thunderbolt, so we're going to use this and take this down. And then nextly she sends out Lapras. Now I'm going to set up a light screen to begin with here because I know I don't one-shot. And then Lapras hits us with a Hydro Pump. And it does a lot of damage, so it's a good job we did have our light screen set up. From here, I'm going to go with a Thunderbolt, knock Lapras down into one shot. We're going to dodge the next Hydro Pump as well, which is nice. And from here, we can go for our second Thunderbolt, take down the Lapras. And now lastly, we've just got Jinx left. So Jinx comes out, it hits us with a Blizzard. Thankfully, it doesn't freeze us. And we can go hit this with a Flash Cannon and take this down to defeat Lorelei. With Lorelei defeated, we're now going to get into the second fight of the Elite Four against Bruno. Bruno's starting off with his Onix here as well, so I know that I'm going to start off with Vileplume because Vileplume can hit for double super effective damage. So I start off with a Vileplume. I'm actually going to set up a Growth as well to begin with because I thought to myself, if I can get myself up high enough, I won't have any issues against a Machamp or his other fighting Pokemon as well. So I've got to put myself up to +3 on Growth. take an Earthquake after taking a couple hits on the other turns, and then I go restore all this HP back with a Mega Drain. And with that done, take down Bruno's first Pokemon. Next up comes out is Hitmonchan, and it hits us with a Fire Punch. I go for a Mega Drain once again, and we actually don't get the one-shot here, but we can restore most of our HP back, which is fine. Next turn, it hits us with another Fire Punch, and I'll finish it off with Acid. After that, we get Machamp, and it's the same thing here as well. Another Mega Drain is going to knock this down to 1 HP. We're going to restore all our HP, and it actually hits slower than Vileplume as well, so that's nice at least. We hit an Acid on the Machamp again on the next turn, take this down. And then nextly we've got Poliwrath, which is going to be a one-shot to Mega Drain. So we go take this down, recover all of our HP back, take a Rock Slide from the Hitmonlee after, which is his final Pokemon. And this also survives on 1 HP. We know it can't kill us though, so I'm going to wait to the next turn, hit this with an Acid and take it down. And with that done, that's Bruno defeated. With Bruno defeated, we head into the third room of the Elite Four against Agatha, who's going to specialise in Ghost-type Pokemon, and she actually leads off with an Arbok here, which isn't a Ghost-type Pokemon, but, you know. I'm going to lead off with my Slowbro as well, and we take a Crunch on the first turn, which does quite a bit of damage. I hit the Arbok with the Psychic though, and this is going to go down to a one-shot. Once the Arbok goes down, Agatha then sends in Weezing. It hits us with a Thunderbolt and does quite a bit of damage, and I'm going to hit this with a Psychic after, and that will be enough to take this down. Now nextly she sends out Gengar. Now Gengar is a bit worrying because Slowbro is on low life and I am going to need it later as well. So I make a switch here over into my Pidgeot, as we're also immune to Ghost type moves. I'm going to have to try and take this down with Pidgeot. So we hit the Gengar with Fly, it hits us with Will-O-Wisp, and thankfully we break out of it really quickly so we can actually take Gengar down with another Fly on the turn after. From here then Agatha sends out a second Gengar, and again, very nicely, we are knocking it down into Half-Life with our Flies. So we hit it with Fly, dodge a Sludge Bomb, and then hit it with a second Fly, and we're able to take this down as well. Putting us up against her last Pokemon, which is Golbat. So against Golbat here, we're going to go for another Fly. It's going to have just a bit more than Half-Life. Hit us with the Air Slash. And then we're going to go hit it with another Fly and put it down into one shot. Then a third and final Fly will be enough to take down the Golbat and defeat Agatha. Now with Agatha down, we've got to do Lance, the fourth member of the Elite Four. He's going to start off with Seadra. And because he starts off with Seadra, I'm going to start off with my Magneton. I set up a light screen on the first turn as well, after dodging a Hydro Pump, which was nice. And then we dodge another Hydro Pump as well, before hitting the Seadra with Thunderbolt and taking it down with a one shot. Next up then he sends out Aerodactyl. And I'm worried about an Earthquake here, so I do make a switch, and it's a switch over into my Pidgeot. Thankfully we made the right call with an Earthquake, and then I got to make another hard switch over into my Slowbro here as well, which I probably could have done before. I actually end up getting flinched by the Rock Slide, so we're not able to hit this turn. And then it goes for a Hyper Beam after, and we actually dodge that, so it kind of makes up for it. So when we go for Surface turn, we can take down Aerodactyl with a one shot. Gyarados comes out after, and this actually does hit its Hyper Beam. Now my intention with the Gyarados is I'm going to put myself back up to full life. I'm going to just try and chip it down. And when I wake up from the rest, I'm just going to try and chip it down and follow this pattern. So we do a bit of chip damage with Psychic, take another Hyper Beam, and then rest to put ourselves back up to full life. Now nicely, Slowbro actually shook itself to wake up there, so that was perfect. We're able to go hit this with another Psychic on the very next turn, take down the Gyarados. So now we've got only 2 more Pokemon left to defeat of Lances, and he's going to send out his Charizard. Charizard hits us with another Hyper Beam. We're able to go hit this with a Surf and put it into very low life. And then on the very next turn, we can go finish this off with another Surf. Now we've got Lance's final Pokemon, which is Dragonite. Dragonite's a lot faster than us and is using Outrage. And does a lot of damage. We hit this with a 4x super effective Ice Beam. But it actually survives, so I know that I'm going to lose Slowbro unless I make a switch. So I make a hard switch over into my Magneton, take another Outrage, and it was a crit. So right now I'm looking at the things and I think I'm dead to another Outrage because of the crit. So I gotta make a hard switch here over into Pidgeot, completely forgetting about Fire Punch as well. So actually we probably would have died, so it's a good job we made the switch. I'm now over into my Pidgeot. We take another Outrage, and then we use Fly. And when we come down on the second turn, we can finish off a Dragonite and defeat Lance. With Lance finished off, we're now getting into our fight against Champion Trace. A final rival fight and our final actual fight of the run. So we're going to go ahead into this, and he's going to start off with his Pidgeot. I'm going to start off with my Slowbro, and he's also going to Mega Evolve as well. I'm going to hit this with an Ice Beam and knock it down into one shot. Take an Air Slash on the next turn, and can finish off his first Pokemon. So with that done, his first Pokemon goes down, and then he's going to send out Vileplume. Now against Vileplume here, I'm going to stay in. I'm going to go for a Psychic. I'm going to knock it down into one shot. Now it's charged up a Solar Beam here, so I do need to switch. And I've got to make a switch here over into my Golbat. Golbat here takes a Solar Beam, and then it goes and finishes off Vileplume on the next turn with an Air Slash. With his Vileplume down now, I'm going to make a hard switch over into my Sand Slash. We dodge a Thunder due to being a ground type. Take a quick attack on the next turn, and then can one-shot this with Earthquake. 3 of Trace's Pokemon are now down, so we've only got 3 more left to go. And his next Pokemon that he sends out is a Slowbro of his own. So I'll make a hard switch here over into my Vileplume, as his Surf doesn't do way too much damage to us due to not being very effective. After this, I'm going to hit this with a Mega Drain, and that's going to put this down into one shot. And Slowbro is going to set up a Light Screen as well. And I thought this would be fine though, because with the HP that it had, 1 Mega Drain would have been enough to take this down. But Trace decides he wants to use his potion. So Slowbro has now got a Light Screen and full HP. This ain't too bad though, because we are still doing a third of its life every time we hit it with Mega Drain. So we do a third of its life there, do another 2 more Mega Drains after, can take this down. And now up against Trace's Rapidash. So a hard switch from my Vileplume back over into Slowbro, take the Flare Blitz. I'm going to rest myself back up to keep myself healthy. In another 3 more turns when I wake back up, I'm going to go hit the Rapidash with Surf and finish off the rest of its life. And then now lastly we got Marowak, Trace's last Pokemon. So that's going to hit us with a Boomerang, and we're going to go retaliate to this with Surf. Surf here is going to put the Marowak into very low life. Trace will use another potion and put his Marowak back up to full life. And then I'm going to hit this with another Surf and put it straight back down to where it was before. And I'm thinking, it's only going to need 1 more hit. Trace goes and uses his 3rd potion. I hit this with another Surf, and thankfully we actually take it down completely as well. And with that done, that's Trace's whole team defeated, meaning that we've beaten the challenge and we've beaten the run. Guys, I really hope you've all enjoyed this video. This one's honestly took me a really long time to do, and I've been wanting to get one out for a really long time as well, because I've been having a couple setbacks. But we're finally back, and I'm hoping we're back with a bang. If you've enjoyed the video, make sure you do smash that like button. Also leave me a comment as well. Honestly, it really helps the channel out a lot, and I'd really appreciate it as well. And again, if you are new here and would like to see more content just like this, I've got a playlist right here full of all the other challenges that I've done, and there's a load more challenges coming out in the nearby future as well. So make sure you smash that subscribe button if you'd love to stick around. I'd love for you to stick around. And with that all said, it's been Ant, and I will see you all in another video very soon. Peace out, guys.